to take a look at today is a basic guarding action, right? That's also your setup for striking, right? Okay, today's video, again, Dai-Shihan Miller from Warrior Concepts, just in case you don't know who I am, right? We're going to continue on with our basic staff training series, right? If you like the training that's going on, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell. That way you know when a new one comes out, okay? And if you want some extra training, you can always hop over on to onlineninjaacademy.com, take a look at the other programs that we have. We do have a foundational staff training program. This series is not going to cover everything, but there's more to the whys and the hows and all that stuff, right? Okay, so what we're going to take a look at today is a basic guarding action, right? That's also your setup for striking, right? It's called Furi, right? Or Furi Gata. Shiho Furi Gata means four-directional Furi. Furi means stick turning, okay? So you know, if we take up a kamae and we're guarding this way, there's nothing really to stop this guy from taking that sword and just cutting this thing, right? So how do we protect the weapon as well as ourselves, okay? So Furi, right? Again, it's one of those fundamentals. All strikes come from Furi, right? Excuse me, or 99.8% of your strikes come from Furi, right? So, but we need to make sure that we're protecting the weapon, okay? And we're keeping the weapon, right? Primary goal, keeping the weapon between me and the attacker, right? So what I don't want to be doing is turning this thing around so it's all over the place, right? Because there's a constant opening, right? He needs to feel threatened, okay? So I'll show you what it is, and I'm going to make a reference to a very, very common everyday item for, well, most of us, right? And then if you can understand the danger that's present in that, you know, if you were around that everyday item, right, you'll get what's going on here, okay? So, Furi, right, I'm gonna do it first. I'll break it down into a couple of little pieces that I got from a master teacher in Japan, and then we'll just, you know, we'll just keep going from there, okay? So, again, we're gonna start in Ichimonji no kamae, right? So, hira Ichimonji, Ichimonji, this kind of thing, right? And from right here, we're just going to be turning the staff this way, okay? So again, just like I always do, right? In front of you so that you can see what the bad guy sees. Right? Keeping this weapon between you and the bad guy, okay? So if you were a person, I would be keeping this between the points of your shoulder, okay? Because I want to keep it, right? The scrolls say take center, okay? It's not like MMA, right? You get extra points for commanding the center of the ring, right? We need to command the center of the kukan, that bubble between he and I, right? And what's important when we're protecting things, the kukan has a really odd shape to it. It depends on the height and width and whatnot of you, the attacker, that kind of thing, right? But the shape of it goes from the top of his head, top of your head, to the top of my head, to just outside my shoulders, to just outside his shoulders. So if he's broader, it's going to be kind of an odd shape, right? And then from that point here to the ground. That's all that matters, right? We want to keep the weapon inside that. We need to stay operating because I may be in a hallway, I may be between trees, I may have my partner, whatever, right? Next to me, I don't need to be taking them out or running into them and then this gets jammed up and then I die, okay? If I'm not in the world, I can't protect anybody else in the world, okay? So let's break this down, okay? Let's break it down, okay? So we've got this turning, right? And again, we want to keep that between he and I, right? This way. Actually, yeah, we'll talk about the everyday item, right? The everyday item that we need to think about is the tail rotor on a helicopter. And I don't mean the one with the rotors on both of them are on top, right? I'm talking standard helicopter, right? So you got one on top doing this number, right? And then you got that tail rotor that's doing this, right? The speed of it, up or down, keeps that tail in place so that the chopper can fly this way, and if you need to turn, then things happen that it'll kick around, right? So there's all kinds of wild physics and all that, but the whole idea is if you were coming up on the tail end of a helicopter, right, you would not want to walk into that because that buzzsaw is going this way, and that's the idea here. The staff is never kept in a stationary position, well, for microseconds as a strike is delivered, but even then, right, if you're doing it correctly and you're blasting a limb or whatever out of the way, then the staff is continuing to move, right? So ashibadai is not ding this way, right? Ashibadai leg sweep, we're gonna hit that this way, boom, and then just keep it moving, right? So we can go after the next piece or the next piece or whatever, right? So I know in shoe training, right, SHU, right, the first level of your training, you're trying to get the moves down, you're trying to get the body mechanics right and all that, but that's laying a foundation, okay? We need to understand flow, dynamics, those kind of things, right? Okay, so anyway, so let's take a look at this, right? Way back in the day, Shihan, who at that point was Hatsumi Sensei's right-hand man, who now, well, for decades, has run the Bujinkan organization, right? Ex-Japanese military officer, that kind of thing, right? He was a sportsman, he loved sports, all kinds of sports, right? So what he did to help people come along with this is he gave us reference points for 3 different sports, right? Now, you know, if you're in the UK or whatever, right, you may need to alter one of these, right? Baseball, right? Make it cricket, whatever, right? But if you get the general gist, then you'll be able to handle things, okay? So that being said, right, we have motorcycle, like a motorcycle grip, okay? This kind of thing, right? And then we have baseball, give or take, right? And then we have golf. And I know we don't swing a golf stick that, or a golf club that way, but you get the idea, right? You get the idea. Motorcycle, baseball, golf, motorcycle, baseball, golf, okay? So as we're moving, right? Okay. So next thing I want you to take a look at is the coordination of the forward moving part of the staff, right? It's backward and now it's moving, right? Okay. And it's coordination with the forward moving leg. Okay. So and the basic before this that you need is what we call sanshin footwork. Okay. Sanshin footwork is going from seigan ichimonji to shizen to ichimonji. You need this, right? If you move like this, you're going to have problems, okay? We'll be steering and doing things like that to avoid and come in from you know, odd angles and all that. But the very first lesson, right? I don't know if you can see this silver line that's right here, right? So if I'm in shizen and that's straddling, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Legs. Torso turns all by itself. Not, and then step, okay? So if we're coordinated, what'll happen is a window or a door starts to happen, okay? So we're going 1, 2, see the door? We just step through it, okay? We just step through it, okay? If our timing is off and we are early, the movement of the torso or even the movement of the leg throws the staff off at an odd angle. Not a problem if you're trying to do a diagonal strike, but if this is in shielding position, you are now screwed. Okay? I need to stay behind it. I need to stay behind it. Okay? So if you need a different reference instead of the kamae, then we've got ichimonji, tenchi, geidan, tenchi, jodan, ichimonji. You get the idea, right? Okay, and actually, ichimonji to seigan to tenchi to, okay? So they're all just in there, right? So, shifting. This way, yes? Okay, so the idea is to keep it between he and I, and then when I get this, right, and I'm moving, right, then all my strikes come from that position, okay? Okay, so let's take a look at another variation of it, the bamboo bit. Just get that piece out of there and keep on moving, okay? So I said shiho bofuri, right? So this is one, right, where it's vertical turning, right? 2 directions, vertical, right? So the question is the staff lifting or is it dropping? The answer is yes. What people tend to focus on is just what's going on in front of them, so the staff to them is always lifting. But if I understand what's going on, it's also dropping, right? Because I want to be able to turn around and handle things that might be coming from behind me and all that, right? So let's do one more, okay? The horizontal version, right? So we're going to do this from a Jodan Hiriichimonji, right? Geidan, Judan, Jodan. Jodan Hiriichimonji, okay? So from here, we're shifting in this case I'm doing an Ashibarai, you could be doing Do-Uchi, you could be doing Yokomen, whatever, right? But what we're going to be doing is walking our hands down the staff as we step. As we come back to Shizen and move forward, we have the next one, right? So what we have is the ability, right? So then if I'm doing low, middle, high attacks, right? We can literally just kind of walk up the body and walk down the body. And be right back on center, okay? Okay, so we'll have some extra training for you at the end and all that. And once we get the editing done with this, there will be a little, those little bars that pop up here, right? A card or whatever the hell it's called, right? Those things up there that you can click on, jump over onto our site and grab the worksheet for this skill, okay? For this skill, right? And then we'll go from there. Okay, so hopefully we'll see you in for one of our trainings. If you want more, go to onlineninjaacademy.com. Take a look at all the programs that we have for those who are doing distance study, online stuff, or just want to augment what they're doing wherever they are, whether you're doing home study or you're in a dojo or whatever. We're trying to help everybody out that we can. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you again next time.